Which players have performed the most exceptional seasons in NBA history? Periodically, within the realm of the NBA, certain players have seasons that are truly unparalleled. Prepare yourself as we unveil the most remarkable NBA individual player seasons to date. Sit back and relax as we go through the most astonishing season performances that the world of basketball has ever witnessed. This is the best NBA player seasons of all time. Let's go.
Didn't say anything negative, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that
Coming in at number 10, John Stockton in 1990. John Stockton in 1990 had an amazing season. He was 27 years old and this was one of his prime years. He played in 78 games, and the most remarkable thing about this season is that he averaged 14.5 assists per game. That is still an NBA record. To go along with his 14.5 assists, he also averaged 17.2 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 2.7 steals. This is really a historic season, and it's the assists that really set him apart from any other seasons in the NBA. His assist percentage was 57.4, and his PER was 23.9, the best of his career. So without question, this season stands out as one of the best ever, and it has a lot to do with his ability to distribute the basketball and average 14.5 assists per game. Number 9, Shaquille O'Neal in the year 2000. This was Shaquille O'Neal's prime year. He was also age 27, and he led the league in points per game with 29.7. He also would grab 13.6 rebounds a night and block 3 shots. He led the league in two-pointer percentage at 57.5. Shaquille O'Neal is known as one of the most dominant players in NBA history. It makes sense that the most dominant year of the most dominant player would have to be on this list. He played and started in 79 games and had a league best PER of 30.6, which is crazy elite. He also led the league in both offensive win shares and defensive win shares, and total win shares and win shares per 48 minutes. This was one of the most dominant performances in NBA history, and don't forget he went on to win the title that year, averaging 30.7 and 15.4 rebounds in the playoffs. Truly an incredible season for Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq's got the rebound and the follow is good off the glass.
Number 8, a more recent player, 2023, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was incredible in 2023, putting up some of the most historic numbers the NBA has ever seen. At age 28, he averaged 33.1 points per game, grabbed 10.2 rebounds per game, would dish out 4.2 assists, grab 1 steal, and block 1.7 shots. The advanced stats really stand out for Joel Embiid. He had a PER of 31.4. If you remember, PER attempts to capture a player's total contribution both offensively and defensively. And anything in the 20s is great, but in the 30s is just insane. In fact, this is one of the best PERs of all time. Joel Embiid really is the key of the Philadelphia 76ers, and he puts up incredible numbers. No wonder he won the MVP in 2023.
Ball on the floor, creating something out of nothing.
Embiid spinning and rolling down.
Number 7, 2016, Steph Curry. He was also age 27, I'm starting to see a pattern here, and he averaged 30 points per game, which was a league best, and he led the league in steals at 2.1 per game. But one of the more incredible things about this season is that he was in the 50-40-90 club, and one of the best 50-40-90 club seasons ever, because he shot 45% from 3 while attempting 11 3-pointers per game and making 5. Incredible. But he also averaged over 50% from inside the 3-point arc, shooting 56% on average. This is probably the best shooting performance in NBA history, and it's not like he didn't play a lot of games. He played and started in 79 games that season. He led the league in PER that season at 31.5, and with a true shooting percentage leading the league at 67%. He also led the league in offensive win shares and win shares per 48. Definitely, this shooting performance from Steph Curry deserves to be on the list, and it falls at number 7. Number 6. 2009 LeBron James. LeBron James played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He played in 81 games at the age of 24 and averaged 28.4 points per game, 1.1 blocks per game, 1.7 steals per game, 7.2 assists per game, and 7.6 total rebounds per game. He shot 78% from the free throw line, which was his best in his career, and he shot 53% from inside the arc and 34% from three. If you were watching the league back then you know that LeBron James was absolutely unstoppable in this year. He led the league in PER at 31.7. He also led the league in offensive win shares and total win shares and win shares per 48. In the playoffs, he would end up averaging the most points per game at 35. This young LeBron James had one of his best seasons of all time, and of course, one of the best players of all time needs to have his best season on this list. Number 5. Michael Jordan, 1988. Basically, every year of Michael Jordan's career could have been on this list. But the reason we chose 1988 was, well, basically, it was one of his best years statistically, but before he started winning championships. At the age of 24, Michael Jordan averaged 35 points per game, 1.6 blocks, 3.2 steals to lead the league, 5.9 assists, and 5.5 total rebounds. He shot 84% from the free throw line, and he had a field goal percentage of 54%. His PER that season was a career high of 31.7. He led the league in offensive win shares, and win shares per 48. This was an unstoppable year for Michael Jordan, as no one could stop him from scoring. He was a young player with one of the best seasons ever recorded, and to this day it continues to be one of the best seasons ever recorded. This is not even one of the championship years, but still, it makes the list at number 5. Number 4. 2022 Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2022 had one of the best seasons in NBA history. At the age of 27, he averaged 29.9 points per game, 1.4 blocks, 1.1 steals, 5.8 assists, and 11.6 total rebounds. He was a juggernaut of a player, Euro-stepping his way to scoring many points per game and being basically unstoppable. In 2022, he posted a PER of 32.1, one of the highest ever recorded in NBA history, and in the playoffs, he averaged 31.7 points per game, which was a league high. He played in 67 games and shot 55% from the field and 72% from the free throw line. Giannis is one of those unstoppable players, which is why they call him the Greek Freak, and his 2022 season makes the list. Number 3. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1972. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is famous for his unstoppable skyhook, and in 1972 he was absolutely unstoppable. He averaged 34.8 points per game and would grab 16.6 rebounds per game and dish out 4.6 assists per game. He shot nearly 70% from the free throw line and nearly 60% as his field goal percentage. He was still young in 1972 at the young age of 24, playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was proving that he was one of the best, if not the best player in the entire league. He led the league that year in PER at 29.9, and he also led the league in win shares per 48, and offensive win shares. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the more underrated players in NBA history considering all his major accomplishments. He definitely makes the list at number 3.
Short for the hook. When he gets back.
Number 2. Nikola Jokic,
Jokic in 2022. That's right, we also had Giannis from 2022. Nikola Jokic in 2022 had an even better season, if you can believe it. In 2022, he played 74 games, averaged 27.1 points, 1 block, 1.5 steals, 7.9 assists, and 13.8 rebounds. He shot 65% from 2 and 34% from 3. From the free throw line, he wasn't bad either, shooting 81%. The man was virtually unstoppable. He led the league in PER that year at 32.8, the best in NBA history. He also led the league in offensive win shares, and win shares per 48. His true shooting percentage was 66%. If you ever have watched Nikola Jokic, he doesn't play flashy, but what he does do is he never seems to make mistakes on the court. He always makes the right reads, the right play, and executes everything to perfection. His 2022 season was one of the best in NBA history.
Jokic wheels in and scores it. More of that.
But coming in at number 1, the Big Dipper, Wilt Chamberlain in 1962. This was crazy and a record that will probably and likely never be attained or reached by any player in the future. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points per game. 50. And on top of that, he would grab on average 25.7 rebounds per game. His 50 points per game is still a record. Oh, and did we mention that he played in 80 games and played every single minute of all of those 80 games, averaging over 48 minutes per game? Insane. He would shoot 61% from the free throw line and 50% for his field goal percentage. His PER for that year was 32.1. He led the league in offensive win shares, and win shares per 48, and was just dominating the league. This is before he played for the Lakers, and he was only age 25 when he managed to pull this off. It's crazy to think that an NBA player at one point averaged over 50 points per game. And I understand that the league was different back then, that players today would never play a full 48 minutes every single night, and that the competition is different. But you have to give Wilt Chamberlain props here. This is the most historic NBA season ever recorded. Putting up 50 points with 26 rebounds is absolutely insane and amazing. A lot of these players ended up becoming even better later on in their career. Even though their best seasons were in their past, they learned to be better teammates and ultimately prized the possession of a championship rather than solo player accolades. Take Michael Jordan, for example. After 1988 and some of those early seasons where he averaged tons of points per game, he slowed that down a little bit in favor of promoting his teammates so he could win championships, and he won a lot of them. While that's not the case for everyone, it is kind of interesting to point out. But you tell me, what player seasons were left out of this list that just needed to be on there? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. This is NBA Informatics, the fusion of technology and NBA basketball.
I can't say anything negative, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna